sir. How are you?
I'm good, Akash. How about you?
Very well, thank you. I heard recently you had a very good UAE trip.
Yeah, it was really excellent. So I think it was good to understand the readiness on the e-invoicing implementation for clients,
True.
how they're looking at the people framework, and what are the challenges into it. Frankly, people are blank. So it's time to
Hmm.
educate them.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you would have got great compliments on your new glasses.
Yeah, it's superb. The meta glasses are excellent. So I can take a video of you. I'll do that. I'll take a video of you as we talk as well.
Wow, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think technology is changing the world around us.
Yes.
And in the same way, it is impacting how the indirect taxation and the whole taxation domain has worked out. So, in coming to the point of technology adoption, what do you think enterprises should look at? Given you recently met a lot of enterprises and the people adaptability is a challenge.
So I think the global companies are very concerned. One thing is doing proper compliance is a major challenge for us.
Mhm.
So selecting the right vendor, ensuring that technology compliance is there. They don't want any disruptions into their business. So that is a major challenge and a major worry for us. And any kind of a disruption literally kind of disrupts the business, and it is a major challenge. Even in India, we had seen on 31st December the type of disruption
Absolutely.
people had and the way we supported them. So that was highly appreciated. And the type of support that we have been giving to the client
Mm.
is kind of through word of mouth is spreading around, and people are appreciating us for that. So that is something very good into the overall into it. But technology challenges, they don't want to have it. They want to understand it, and with minimal amount of changes into the system, they want to comply.
Absolutely. And specifically, if I talk about UAE, they are going to come up with people-based e-invoicing.
Yes.
So, how do you think adaptability of people will be for these enterprises, given it's a complex framework and it has its own data requirement, etc.?
The first thing is the understanding of people framework in UAE is not there.
Mhm.
They have only implemented, most of these companies have implemented invoicing in KSA,
Right.
which is very, very different. It's a clearance model. This is a reporting model.
True.
The kind of invoice updations or the invoice data points are different. So first they need to understand the type of invoicing details that they will have to update, and the understanding of the people model, because people model is not just about invoices, it is about AP, AR. It's also a communication mechanism with your vendors and customers. So they need to understand what are the mandatory fields required to have that conversation, and how they can facilitate a high speed transaction exchange with the people AP provider, so there is minimal amount of disruption into their business. That is an area that they need to understand very clearly.
True. And in one of the recent conversations that I had, there was a topic of discussion about validation of an e invoice. And I typically use the terminology that you recommend, the ratification of e invoice. So, what would you say on the data validation and the verification of an e invoice in general?
So in people, there is no verification of invoicing. So that is the first point.
Yeah.
It is a global invoicing mechanism. So if they try and put verification validations into each people framework, it will become so heavy that it's impossible to deploy as a global solution. So the amount of validation on the people framework are bare minimum. And when we talk about verification of the invoicing, it is extremely important that you combine the verification methodology along with the invoicing methodology, and your AP provider ensures that both are taken care of it.
Right.
And most important is that it has to also link to a VAT solution. Having a plain vanilla invoicing solution which does not take your data into a VAT solution, where you have to report the same thing to the VAT authorities, is going to be a major challenge. And people will comply to invoicing, they will struggle in creating the VAT returns, and then they will struggle more in terms of replying to the notices that will come in from the authority for the reconciliation of both. So unless and until this is taken care from day one, it is going to be a major challenge for the clients.
I think similar situation which is there in Saudi Arabia right now.
Absolutely.
Right, right. And in terms of people, we have heard the terminology AS4 and the time it requires to process one invoice. We have heard what are the challenges with the AS4? Because it is a very heavy technology in terms of anyone to comply with or to deploy.
So we are all used to API level integrations,
Yes.
and PEPPOL is all about AS4 protocols in terms of integrations and data communication. So what happens is that when you send a XML file of the data, first the AP system kind of scans through, and I'm talking in a very layman's language. It will scan through all the fields. It will identify actually to whom they should send the data.
Right.
Then they will validate the data, and then they will send it. This takes substantial amount of time, and if it's a high volume, high amount of data that needs to be processed, then you need to have a combination of a AS4 along with a API level integration.
Right.
Because you cannot disrupt the business for a client into it. It's good that it's going to be a reporting mechanism. So even an async and a sync API can be used to process this particular data, but a dual system will be required to be given to the large volume clients, so they are able to do it in a better way.
Of course, thank you. And AP here means access point.
Access point, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, I would want to touch base upon how much time should a large or a medium to large organization consider for this whole e-invoicing implementation? What is the general time frame?
I think they can start today, because the global people frameworks are available. Global people validation engines are available.
Right.
So you can take your data, start kind of converting into a mechanism by which it is people ready. And as and when the actual requirements of UAE comes in, you can modify that particular data, or maybe the access point provider will validate it little bit more as per the requirement. There could be a very less requirement of adding few fields which could be UAE specific, but at 90-95% you will be ready from today. And you need to actually find out from your entire organization's data points, invoicing modules, what all data points you need to send it across, how it's going to happen. So the process can start today, be ready 90-95%, and if there are any modifications that you need to do specific to UAE, you can adapt to it.
Absolutely. So start early and be better prepared, and that would even help you to bridge the gaps which are there in the data points.
Very true. Very, very true.
Well, that was very insightful, sir.
Thank you so much.
I think it would help a lot of our viewers, and thank you so much.